Welcome back everybody to Tactics Ogre. We are now doing the law playthrough, so I've jumped all the way back to Balma Musa for the decision. We're going to go down, like I said, the law path. And so, just a quick reminder of where we're at the storyline.
There's no call for such rancor.
Vice is trying to convince the people to stand up for themselves. They don't want to do it because they're old and tired. They've seen war before. They know that more war is just going to lead to more suffering.
At least here, the winds of war do not howl in our ears, and our stomachs.
And Vice, excuse me, Vice says something to the extent like,
you enjoy all the
luxuries of cattle.
Doubtless you will, so long as you remain. But do you not long to be free, to live as men? You are Wallister. Where's your pride?
Leave as you came. Let us live out our lives in peace.
I know we've talked about this before, but this is getting sort of back to the
who knows what.
original reason why we are in this predicament. You have King who passes away, doesn't have an heir. At least at the beginning of the game, it doesn't appear he has an heir. It turns out Cash was actually a bastard heir that I guess is okay. In order to lead the people. They're very concerned with their unique individual cultures, being Wallisters versus Galgastani. Right now, the Galgastani are lording over the Wallisters. You as the Wallisters are trying to reverse that.
Forgive me.
And basically take the left side of the island continent that you live on and unite the two Galgastani Wallisters under one banner, either by force or by choice. And as I mentioned in previous playthroughs, whatever you choose, basically the opposite happens. So you choose law, Denim, or Vice chooses chaos.
Spare no one.
You choose chaos, he chooses law.
What?
Doesn't necessarily mean that
the Duke
you get a better outcome.
These are his orders.
That's just sort of the way it is.
If you know even one reason, I would hear it.
Because his grace demands it.
That's the ultimate question. Do you follow the law,
of Musa rise up as we ask,
or do you go against the Duke
words of these
and do the right thing?
Move them to take up arms. When they refuse, you are to kill them under guise of Galgastani agents. Leave no survivors.
You can't be serious. You order
This has repercussions that we'll talk about after we get past the decision. That
our situation.
basically affects the way the whole storyline up to chapter 4
the Wallister must unite
goes. It doesn't affect the big storyline, you know, with Ashwell leaving Denim and
our people in the
her finding out that she is the inheritor to the throne, and the Dark Knights trying to subvert that in order so that they can use her as, I guess, a puppet leader.
Ranks remain unmoved by such outrage. Balbatos will be beset by foes without and within. We will finally have both the opportunity and the moral imperative to rid the world of the creature.
The creature that is...
And the others will not do this quietly.
The leader of the Galgastani, not necessarily the people, I don't think, but he could also mean the people.
You are with me then. It is the only way. The future of our people depends on it.
I see what must be done. I will bloody my hands.
Do not worry. We will not let their sacrifice be in vain.
Denim, are you mad?
You can see Denim, Vice's portrait has changed again.
The Duke gave such an
He doesn't
order
look
then.
nearly as crazy.
And
He
you
doesn't look
would
crazy at
carry
all,
it out?
actually.
Open your eyes. We cannot win if we
Her
are
portrait, of
unwilling
course,
to
stays
dirty
the
our
same.
hands.
And Casual
Ours
chooses
is
our
to
side
follow
regardless of which way we go.
I swore an oath before the Duke, before the realm.
Listen to you. If I close my eyes, I think I spoke with the Galgastani.
The Duke would sacrifice these people as a piece in some great game. Our Lord has betrayed us all. To think I was willing to give my life for such a man.
What a fool I was.
Then you stand apart, Vice. You will not join us?
Damn right! These people have done nothing. Where the justice in killing them?
I did not think you want to abdicate duty, Ravnus. To break faith with Lord and Realm.
I break no faith. I renounce the Duke. I renounce you all.
I always thought to find you at my side the day the Wallister won their freedom.
Correct.
But if men of our own blood would stand against us, why should I expect more of you?
Am I not Wallister?
Wallister descended from Galgastani's stock. But the fault is mine. I should not have placed such faith in one of mingled blood.
Great,
How
what's it called?
dare you?
You're not ethically pure enough
Every
to be
victory
considered one of
comes at
us.
a price. Can't you see that? People are dullwits. The sacrifice
You
must
are
be great to
Wallister,
wake them from their languor.
but part of
And
you
you,
come
Joshua,
either your
will you follow
mother
in this madness?
or your grandfather or grandmother was
I
Galgastani,
will ever stand with Denham.
and that makes you ethnically
From this day,
unclean.
You and I.
And so you are not
enemies.
Wallister, you're not Galgastani, you're some mutt hybrid of the two.
No Wallister leaves this
Loved by
place
neither.
alive.
Galgastani reinforcements. Deal with them. Leave the townsfolk to me.
This, I think, they sort of leave it a little up for interpretation, but I sort of, based on this little bit of dialogue, is I think you didn't have anything to do in the massacre other than fighting the Galgastani here, and Leonard is the one who perpetrated the massacre itself and his men.
More from you, Denham. A man who places ends before means treads a dangerous path. The shame is mine for daring to hope. On my honor, you are my foe, Denham.
So, if you want to recruit Ravenous, you have to do it in the law path, because as you know, if you go down the other path, in the cutscene, Vice kills her. In this, Vice is going down the rebel, chaotic path, whatever you want to call it. But that means that he is essentially, in my opinion, doing the right thing. Doesn't shoot Ravenous, so as long as she doesn't die in this battle, she'll live to see another day, and you'll be able to recruit her eventually, which is my plan. However,
I just can't believe you're of Galgastani descent.
You feel yourself betrayed. You'd heed blood over word and action. Can the light of deed not pierce the shadow of one's birth? I believe it can. I will not believe otherwise.
I think that's what's the beauty. I think that's what I love the most about America, particularly when it is when it's a priority, is that you in America, ideally, you are not limited by your birth or your race or your religion or your skin color, but based on the deeds that you do in this time, you know? And I understand we in America are not perfect. No one's perfect. We are a society made up of people with different ideas and philosophies about the way things should be. But my understanding, at least, of the American dream is that a man is only limited by, you know, what he is willing and capable of risking.
Now, her blood's not
to,
mixed of her own doing, boy. I myself am not of the common race, though I can't say as I've met misfortune on that account.
Just luck, perhaps.
I hadn't considered that. But there's time for considering later. We've more pressing matters.
That's a interesting rebuttal there. Canopus is not really all that serious character in the storyline. He doesn't really push buttons too hard, other than, you know, occasional storyline things, mainly dealing with mercenaries and that sort of thing. But in here, he's asking the question as to whether or not, you know, he's of mixed race. You know, does that make him any less important to the team or any less valuable? Yeah. But like I said, I think in America and it doesn't always happen this way, I know, but you're given the opportunity to succeed in the United States based on your own merit. What are you willing to do to get ahead, you know, versus, you know, were you born into? And I very much will follow that and support that sort of philosophy, that everyone should have roughly the same base. I understand, you know, nothing is ever simple. It's not everybody was born into a family that makes X amount of dollars per year and everything's equal. No, obviously, you know, your parents, you know, have a certain background. They accomplished so much. Their grandparents accomplished so much. And you're currently at whatever your current situation is, okay? Economic, social situation. And maybe you're happy with that, maybe you're not, I don't know. And then from there, you have opportunities that are going to be different. So you live in a wealthy community, you are probably going to have a different experience, obviously, than someone who lives in a poor situation. You know, not having enough money to eat versus not having enough money to go on vacation versus not having enough money to buy a second house or something. You know what I mean? Different levels of need, you know. But one of the points that I'm trying to get at is that's why I like or support public education, is because I feel that everybody should be given the opportunity to succeed, and the foundation starts with education. You know, the you know, the illiterate, the ignorant, they tend to become, you know, I mean, we can all become pawns in someone else's game, but, you know, you're more likely to end up in a situation where, you know, you are just sort of going with the flow than if you have the ability to do, you know, and it doesn't even have to be all that it can be, you know, deep and dedicated, but, you know, just sort of the basics: adding, subtraction, multiplication, division, area, space, you know, being able to write, communicate, to talk, you know, in a way that other people can understand you. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think, in a way, we kind of take for granted, but at the same time, I think that, you know, you constantly have to keep bringing up the next generation. You can't just say, oh, well, you know, I was educated, that's fine, we don't need to educate anybody else. No, you got to keep going, you got to keep educating, because eventually those people will be out in the real world, and at that point, they're not going to be, you know, they'll be held responsible for, you know, so they'll be in society, essentially. So, would you rather them be members of society helping to produce goods and services and work and be able to hopefully not be taken advantage of, or do you want them in such a way where they could be taken advantage of because of their ignorance or inability to do, you know, basic tasks, you know, that, you know, I mean, you can go to high school and not finish high school and still be successful, and you can go to college, not go to college and be successful. Okay, so But to have a high school diploma at least is like, for me,
Since ancient times, there has been
that
a
should be
word
the
for
bare
one who
minimum
sells
that we
his soul
strive
to the
for.
devil. They call him Ogre.
This is the first time you hear about
who eats the
ogres.
flesh of men. I see now the many you will consume in your lust for power.
You are an
You
ogre
are
in
an
truth.
ogre in truth.
He's mad. The side note to this, I gotta watch out for Kashwa.
Lower your blade, Ravnus. What reason could any of us have to quarrel amongst ourselves?
I would have your reasons, if you've any worth repeating. You'd give your blessing to this sacrilege. Or have you chosen to turn your back on the light? On the very teachings of the Great Father? Is revenge your calling now, Abuna? The blood of your sworn enemy flows in my veins. Why not slay me too?
All great points. I have to watch out for Kashwa. I don't control her in this battle. And she does have her princess class and whip and spells, so she may fucking wipe out Ravenous, and I'm gonna have to pay attention to that because I can't have her get wiped out because I want her on my team. Just like I want Ozma on my team later on. She's only recruitable in the lawful playthrough. So yeah. But I don't know. I mean, that's why I think it's important. You know, I mean, you don't have to, again, don't have to have a college education to be successful. Don't even have to high school diploma if you're not successful. But I would like to say that if we're going to create a base ground by which, you know, people should be, you could say, well, does the piece of paper matter? No. What matters is what you learn and what's in your brain. Yes. But in terms of like saying, okay, well, this certifies you as a high school person who passed all their classes and is in society now. And I think in terms of a baseline, that should be the baseline, is a high school diploma. Now, can you, like I said, can you get a job without a high school diploma? Yes. But I think, you know, in terms of goals, you know, like what's your goal? You know, what's your goals for the future? Is it to be a homeless person? Is it to be successful? You know, I mean, again, you can be a rich homeless person. I know that doesn't make any sense, but you can be a person who was rich and chose to be homeless, you know, through your actions or through a series of very bad mental situations, I guess. Too many variables in there. Or, you know, you could say, okay, well, I'm choosing to do X, Y, Z, you know, because I want to be successful. I want to be able to afford things, not worry about, you know, where's my food coming from, where's my housing coming from, you know, that sort of thing. And you're more in control of your life in that regard as well. And again, I'm not saying that if you're not educated, you're not a good person. Plenty of people can be good people and not be educated. But I think those people are still open to learning and changing. Whereas I think a person who is well educated that does not have an open mind, you know, for new ideas and new thoughts and such, I mean, you don't have to be open to everything, you know. You just have to be kind of like, okay, what's your point of view on this? And let's tell me what you think. I want to listen. I want to hear what you think. I may not agree with you. I might not like what you're going to tell me, but at the same time, I think it's important that we have a discussion about these things, you know, because it's very easy to say, well, I don't care. You know, I don't care about you. I don't care about anything except myself. But, you know, I mean, like, who does that benefit? You know, it only benefits you. And that's fine if it only benefits you, but, like, I don't know, it's like I feel it's a hollow existence. And I get it, you know, we all gotta be worried about ourselves. We gotta be worried about, you know, making money, providing food for ourselves and our children and our spouses or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You'd be worried about that. You know, I get that. You gotta be beholden to yourself. I get that. That, you know, as a whole society, as a whole place, you know, I think we are better off when we reward and we benefit from when everybody's educated and everybody is successful instead of only a few or only some.
Am I to be a shepherd to these youths?
So yeah, if you don't kill Ravenous in this and you kill everybody else on the field, she teleports away, which allows you to later on recruit her. However, you do have to defend her, I think, in at least 2 battles. So she has to survive at least 2 more battles for her to become part of your team. Sort of like we did with what's her face?
I'll kill you by my own hands, Denim. I swear it!
Yeah, it's Vice getting angry at us. And why not get angry? This is fucking it's a massacre against your own people. I don't get it. I mean, I get you're following the rules that your lord dictated to you, but not the right thing.
There is blood on my hands. How long till it lies on my heart?